Next, we head to Jackson, Michigan for a sentencing. 36-year-old Melissa Simons pled guilty to delivery of less than 50 grams of a controlled substance. 3 years earlier, Simons delivered heroin laced with fentanyl to her friend, 29-year-old Christopher Reisner. After taking the drug, Reisner died from an overdose. Reisner, who'd struggled with addiction in the past, was finally sober, working as a local advocate for addicts until he relapsed. Simons, who was an addict herself, appears before Judge John McBain to learn her sentence. The suggested guidelines for the charge are 5 to 20 years in prison. Simons, who's hoping to be released, has already served 253 days in the county jail.
You're telling me, you know what? I should just get 250 days in the county jail. Is that what you think is a just sentence in this matter? Okay, you hear the other gentleman tell me it was a really good thing for him to go to prison. Did you hear that this morning? Because that's where you're going. You're not going to county jail.
While the judge threatens to send Simons to prison, he does give her one last chance to change his mind.
Tell me even one substantial and compelling reason why I should depart downward from the guidelines. Because that's my job.
Because I have done a total change. I am so sorry about what happened. I did not mean for anything bad to happen. I started with an addiction. I started with pills after I had a C-section.
None of those are substantial and compelling. You got some remorse. You're taking some issue with your addiction issue.
I'll do whatever it takes.
Your Honor, I think... May I, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
Simons' attorney, Andrew Kirkpatrick, steps in to try to explain his client's point of view.
Your Honor, I think there's anybody in this room that would disagree that Miss Simmons was not a drug dealer who was trying to prey upon members of this community to make money. She was sick. She had an addiction, just like Mr. Reiser was struggling. And I believe shortly after this incident, she overdosed and almost died. Heroin and fentanyl is a pandemic beyond pandemics. It is a health crisis, and she was deep in that clique.
Kirkpatrick's words do little to sway the judge, who adheres to the sentencing guidelines. 5 to 20 years in a state prison. But just 8 days later, after Kirkpatrick shows the judge some texts from the victim's phone, Simons is given a second chance at sentencing. While the defendant listens off camera, Kirkpatrick points out that on the day Reisner died, he sent messages to a number of people, including Simons, desperately looking for a fix.
Mr. Reisner reached out to her. They were both users. They were not dealers. They were both struggling with drug addiction.
And with that, Kirkpatrick asks for a lesser sentence.
I'm asking the court to consider a prison sentence of 36 months, and I'm asking the court to consider the SAI boot camp. I think that the SAI boot camp would be a further solidifier to Miss Simons to help her continue down her road to recovery.
Judge McBain considers the request and slowly starts to change his mind.
I did have an opportunity to review some texts that were made by Mr. Reisner that clearly suggest that he was reaching out to you for those drugs, and that dynamic was clearly not represented in the pre-sentence report.
The judge agrees to the 36 months, but warns Simons, who's off camera, that boot camp will be no cakewalk.
Boot camp's a 90-day program. It's going to be tough. The good news is you'll probably be in a lot better shape because you're going to be working hard out there. But after 90 days, you get to come home. So am I being fair with you? Okay.
Simon's final sentence was 36 months in prison, minus the 261 days in the county jail, plus 90 days in a boot camp. Thanks for being a fan of Court Cam. Subscribe to A&E to never miss a new video and catch full episodes on aetv.com.